Welcome to the Divinorum. I'm alive, I'm dead, I'm plastic. Alcohol and Salvia Divinorum, homemade extract, by crystallinesheen. Originally posted to arrowwood.org. 2 days ago, I finally hit the wall with Salvia. I mean, it was like jumping out of a car at 100 miles an hour right into a concrete wall or something. I'm no newbie to Salvia, having had many strong experiences in the past. Ever since my first 10x experience that left me in spasms of laughter, I had been intrigued by the green goddess. Out here in Hawaii, it is rather popular with the locals, as Terrence McKenna planted the stuff all over the damn island. I consider myself sort of a salvia farmer, as I have been growing the plant for about a year now. It has been really nice cultivating a relationship with the plant, and the bonding between man and plant has really helped me a lot on my trips. I have always had good experiences. By good, I mean that I have felt the raw force of this substance, and it was as if I was a puppet being jerked around by a benevolent mistress. Usually, I just laugh insanely for 10 minutes or so. But as many of you people know, Salvia has reverse tolerance. So the more I do it, the easier and more intensely it seems to affect me. I called up a couple of buddies to come up and drink wine with me. So they all come up to my house and we start having a good old time. I had been drinking wine all day and was very buzzed even before my buddies got there. While we were drinking, I nearly smashed my hip from falling on concrete. As you can see, I was pretty loaded, something to keep in mind. Like I said, usually the lady likes to just play around with me, but maybe she didn't like the way I was being especially frivolous that night, with all of the wild drinking and general nuttiness. Usually, I try to approach powerful substances like salvia with more respect, but I was feeling footloose and fancy-free and didn't see the need for ritual that eve. Soon, I was to pay for my error. Big time. Now, I should probably also tell you that I have been doing a lot of tryptamines lately. AMT and ayahuasca. And my brain was feeling pretty loose as of late. The tryptamines give a person a lot of information to ponder. For the past 2 months, totally new dimensions have been opening up to me, and I have been doing my damnedest to interpret them. I'm just trying to figure out what in the hell brought on this experience that I'm about to relate. Salvia is weird stuff. No trip is ever the same. I have done everything from ketamine to LSD to DMT to just about everything else multiple times, and I'm struck by just how varying the experiences can be from time to time. Anyway, back to my tale of warped dimensionality. My buddies and I were in high, drunken spirits when I felt the urge to bring out the freshly dried extract. I went and retrieved it from my room and brought it onto the porch where we were sitting. Casually, without any kind of ceremony other than that which you would do in the smoking of your everyday cannabis, I loaded the bowl of my friend's pipe with extract and hit it with fire. I remember tasting that familiar taste, kind of dark and lush, but good. That smoke went deep into my lungs and I held it in, waiting to take my customary 3 hits. I didn't quite make it to 3 hits. For the first time, 1 hit was enough. I felt my lungs start to tingle. I think I told my friends that the salvia was indeed active and potent. Then I was gone. Absolutely, inconceivably gone. It was like I had just woken up into another totally different reality. Only this reality wasn't reality. It was the antithesis of reality. One time on LSD at Jazz Fest in New Orleans, I had what I call the ultimate vision. You all know what I am talking about. Behind the scenes of reality. That perception that makes people institutionalized forever. The true view of reality. You know when a person gets to that point past the little crust of perception that we all call our lives and our world, where they suddenly realize their ultimate position in life and the universe. It's not fun, as it totally invalidates our lives. I mean, when you realize everybody you love, everything you take for granted about this world are merely props on an intergalactic stage. All of our hopes, dreams, fears, just soap bubbles on the plate of existence. I mean, we all know that we are merely shells, walking around on this earth. But when you actually see that, oh God, it sucks. Some things we aren't meant to see while we are still bound and meet reality. I returned to this reality, the ultimate vision. Death would have been kind if it had taken me right then and there. At least on acid that time in New Orleans, experiencing the similar vision, I knew that when the acid faded, I could return to the comfortable delusion that was my life. The acid was allowing me to see something that I wasn't meant to see, and when the peak wore off, I would be okay. It wasn't like that on Salvia. It was like suddenly, out of the blue, I was watching the credits roll on my entire life. I knew I was a goner. Even if I survived, what did it matter? You can't have infinity and humanity at the same time. They don't work together. I vaguely remember hearing the conversations that were going on around me at the time at the table, except that I didn't quite hear normal conversation. I heard the meta message that everyone was saying. For instance, one of my friends was talking to this chick he liked a lot, and he was telling her about his life. But instead of hearing things like, my father is in the military, my mom is a nurse, my dog is named Fluffy, and other such getting to know one another kind of things, I heard, well, crystallinesheen finally did it. He broke through. I knew he would find the truth at some point. It was good being in his movie. Let's all say goodbye to him. He's about to leave us. But watch out. You don't want to go with him now. The realization that my friends were cardboard cutouts just killed me. I mean, I would have been less shocked if my friends had pulled out a pistol right then and there and just shot me. It felt like that, but so much worse. I can deal with the pain and injury, but not the ultimate vision. I remember jumping up and running, trying to outrun the meltdown that was occurring all around me. Everyone I had ever known was popping up everywhere, wishing me goodbye. And they were all sad that I figured out the game so early in my life. I ran into the house, nearly knocking out people in my mad dash to my bedroom. Amazingly, I felt like I actually ran through one of my housemates, like I was a ghost already and I didn't even matter anymore. Vaguely, I remember running to my room and laying down on the bed, waiting to finally die. To end the torment of having thought my life was real, only to find out it was just a fucking movie. The room dissolved and the only thing that existed was my hands and my bed. I guess because my hands were clutching the bed in a death grip. The door to my room was opened wide, and I knew that all the people I had ever known were all about to walk through that doorway and mock me, laughing because I had believed in the delusion, and they had all participated in that lie. Thankfully, that didn't happen. Downstairs, I heard our neighbors, we live in a duplex, talking, and I swear to God, they were talking about me and what I had just done. I only vaguely know these people, but they knew exactly what I had done and were laughing at the role they had played in my life delusion. I knew I was a goner. Oh, God. I almost get sick to my stomach recalling this. It was worse than any torture. From being drawn and quartered to having your fingernails pulled out by the roots. It was beyond the categories of good and bad. It was the real deal. I know this is part of the bad shit that happens when you die. Before your spirit goes back home and everything is good, you have to leave this world behind. And in doing that, you realize that it was all just a dream. After a few minutes, I guess, as I felt I was in purgatory for an eternity, I felt that I wanted to live the lie. I wanted to return to all of those things that I enjoyed and loved. In short, I needed some grounding in a big way. I managed to make my way back out to the garage and to relate to my friends my experience, but reality was still vibrating and mostly molten. My friends were still gloating about their roles in my delusion, and they were laughing about incidents in my life that they had witnessed because they were plastic gods that had designed my life to that point anyway. But that didn't shock me anymore. I think I was resigned to death by that point. Slowly, as I sat there in the company of my friends, it was like I came up to the surface of the ocean, having dived down to the depths, and those conversations started making sense again. Suddenly, my friends were talking about normal, drunken subjects. It's as if mid-sentence, everything that they were saying started making sense again. This is the weirdest part of the experience. It was like I was hearing subliminal messages in the voices of everyone around me. Okay, I was back down after one of the most mind-blowing experiences of my life. I thought everyone would have been concerned about me, but hardly anyone thought I had even left. They all thought I had went to go take a piss or something. Oh man, I started riffing on the near-death experience I had just had. But this didn't seem to sway my friends any, and they immediately packed their own bowls and took off themselves. I was still too far gone to observe what happened to them, but I did something that I still can't believe I did. After all that I had just went through, probably one of the worst experiences of my life, what do? I take another hit. It all came back, but mercifully, I think I blacked out. As I remember coming back, slamming my head into the metal table saying, "Why did I do this to myself again?" I immediately drank up the rest of the wine in great swallows. I needed intoxication, not for the drunkenness, but for the grounding. It was necessary because I felt that my soul was not quite back into my body. Now, 2 days later, I am just about back to normal. I passed out not long after the experience and have felt weak ever since. It's as if my mind and spirit were so jarred by this experience that I have suffered kind of a mini death or something. I keep trying to tell my girlfriend about this, and more comes to me as the days go by. I know of myself and the other realms enough to know that I needed to undergo that experience for some reason. Why? I keep asking myself, why did I have to go there? I went out and meditated with my salvia plants, hoping for an answer. It's almost like I feel betrayed. Salvia has always been kind to me, almost lighthearted. But I feel my extraction tech may have been a little too strong, and maybe it was time for my bitch slapping of the century. Will I ever do salvia again? Most definitely. But until then, I have a lot to do in the way of centering myself. I realize that I'm in too deep to turn around now. I have to dive to the very heart of this mystery that I have uncovered. Until then, love and light. And just because it's a lie doesn't mean it doesn't mean something, somewhere. I don't exist, and you don't either.